Finding a strong deck that you enjoy is one of the hardest things to do in Clash Royale. With all the new evolutions and tower troops and God knows what else being added to the game, as well as constant balance changes, it's very hard to find a consistent deck, and especially one that you enjoy and that's not going to get nerfed. So I've put together this video to show you the top 3 decks that you should play and pick up going into 2024. Just a quick disclaimer, these are not the top 3 best decks in the game. These are all good decks, but this is more a top 3 most beneficial to learn and start playing video. So first up, as you can see, is Hoggy, which you have most definitely seen before. And don't worry if this isn't your cup of tea, I have plenty of other decks for you to use. There's also timestamps in the video. You can choose if you don't like the decks. Also, feel free to ask me any questions in the comment section. But yeah, Hoggy, we're going to start off because it is versatile and it is very long lasting. This deck has gotten a few nerfs like to the Evo Firecracker, but this is still a very powerful deck. You're able to switch out plenty of cards, several evolutions. You can use Knight, you can use skeletons even, you can use, I don't know who would use the Ice Spirit, but you could use the Firecracker. All of these fit. It's a very versatile deck and it will not die. It will not die. It is very strong. You're going to be able to watch pros like Ian to learn the deck. There's plenty of game knowledge out there on Hog. It is one of the best decks because you're going to be able to beat mid ladder, top ladder decks, meta decks, beat down, literally everything you name it. This is a very strong deck. So we're going to be I guess I could just explain exactly what I'm doing here and try and help you get a little grasp of the deck so that you might play it if you enjoy it. It's a pretty strong, I would have to admit, it's pretty strong. Like, there's some decks that, they stay alive. Like, 2.6 has been alive for, 7 years, but that doesn't necessarily make it good. This deck is extremely powerful because you've got the Mighty Miner for taking care of ground DPS. You've got, it also has a bomb, so if you need to get rid of, minions or something, you're going to be fine. You've got, I prefer, personally, the Firecracker evolution because it is very strong, and although the Knight is better at top ladder, for mid ladder and low ladder, you might face abominations, and the evolved Firecracker is amazing at dealing with those. So, as you can see, you're going to be able to dominate stuff with buildings. EQ is amazing for buildings. Best thing I would recommend is to try things in grand challenges first. Obviously, play the deck a little bit. You can also do this with the Mighty Miner. That's why I love him. Play the deck a little bit. Just kind of experiment with it in classic challenges and grand challenges before you commit to upgrading it to level 15, because that is going to be a very difficult journey, especially for free-to-play players. So it's important that you know exactly what you're getting into before you decide to actually get into it. Now, I know this is a top 3 video, but I'm putting 4 decks in here because these two are kind of hand in hand in a sense. We've got Miner Wall Breakers, which is a very fast-paced but sort of defensive deck. Now, if you're into more of a defensive long matches, then this deck is for you. If not, if you're more offensive and you like getting it done, the next deck is for you. So I have timestamps, but these are 2 of very similar decks that play really differently. This deck is more defensive, although you do have Wall Breakers for pressure and stuff like that. Miner Poison is a very, very strong deck. Now, the biggest knock on this deck is that it's not very fun. It's just you kind of you can defend everything. You defend for 3 to 5 minutes. You can beat pretty much any matchup in the game. There's so much potential to learn extra, outplays, little micro plays like with the Miner, outplays, predictions. You're going to be able to pressure so much. Look how much damage we got there from the Little Prince Guardian. You've got the Wall Breakers, Goblins, Evo Knight, Guardian ability. It's all going to be very good pressure, and you're going to get pressure, but it's very important that your defense is spot on with this deck. So if you're more of a offensive player, then I wouldn't recommend this deck, although you are going to be able to pressure certain matchups. This is definitely more for a defensive guru. So, obviously, as you can see here, we're facing what looks to be E-Golem. So this is not going to be very fun. But this is one of those, if you're satisfied with, just completely obliterating golems, goblin giants, E-Golems, if you just love defense and, this is the deck for you. I absolutely love it. I'm not very good at it, sadly, but hopefully one day I'll be able to improve my cycle gameplay. But as you can see, I mean, this is just defense, like defense, defense, defense. It's going to get hard, especially in mid-ladder, but this deck is going to make you a great, well-rounded player, because it doesn't matter what deck you're playing. The skills that this deck will give you on defense is going to carry over to so many different decks, any type of cycle deck, pretty much. And even it's going to teach you interactions, going to help you play faster. And I definitely recommend a fast cycle deck like this, even if you don't end up playing this deck long term. So as you can see, we've got our opponent. I don't even know what rap good Eminem. This guy's name is Cursed. He's just button mashing. He's just playing cards, and it's working for him. Well, actually, it's not, because our defense is very, very strong, especially with the Little Prince. Now, this is the biggest knock on this deck. The Little Prince is kind of making this deck right now. So when it gets nerfed, and if you don't have it, it's not going to be a great solution, although you can play with Bats and Spear Goblins instead of the Little Prince and Goblins. This is the biggest knock, is the Little Prince is kind of carrying this deck. So that's the biggest negative I would say about this deck. But here's on to part 2. Now, the reason I kind of have this as 2A and 2B is because this deck is very similar to the last deck, although this is very offensive. So if you like getting it done, if you like getting some damage, if you like constant pressure, split lane pushes, 3-card cycle, domination, this is a very good deck for you. Now, a lot of people play this with the Little Prince right now, but as the Little Prince is receiving a nerf and the Archer Queen is receiving a buff, I'm going to go ahead and play with the Archer Queen, as this was the OG version of this deck. You're constantly going to be splitting Hogs. You're constantly going to be trying to use the evolved Skellies to just mutilate the opponents. I love getting Evo Skelly clips. You already know that. It's very, very fun. So what you're going to see here is that this deck lacks a big spell. Now, that is the biggest knock on this deck. You're going to be able to defend very well with with Ice Spirit and the Queen in the delivery, obviously, but you lack a big spell. So you're going to need to understand how to basically play without giving your opponent big counter pushes, which is going to teach you good timing, as well as it's just going to help you overall with even with decks that do have big spells. It's going to help you use them better. It's going to make you a better offensive player. You're going to have to be able to tell what counters does my opponent have in hand for piggies. You're going to be having to track cycle, using the 3-card cycle to your advantage as well. Sadly, there is no replacement for the Queen in this deck. You need Queen or Little Prince, but it's pretty common nowadays that you do need a champion. So as you can see, we're just going to be down a little bit of damage, but this is hardly as defensive as the... What? Where did that guy come from, bro? I mean, okay. Well, this is a good thing. Watch this. He doesn't have delivery or log. He might have to EQ, or wait, no, he doesn't have EQ. I'm stupid. This is not EQ. I was thinking of my own deck. He does not have anything for these Skellies, and so we're going to be able to get this Queen through, because I don't know how you're going to deal with this. The Skellies are still just tanking for the Queen. I don't know. I never thought I'd be saying that, but the Skellies are tanking there, and as you can see, we just got a ton of damage. But as you can see, I mean, this is hardly as defensive as the last deck. You want to be very aggressive with your Hogs, with your Skellies, always pressuring. One of the biggest things to learn is when defending stuff like beatdown, you're going to need to play offense while defending. So if you need to go Royal Hogs opposite lane when your opponent Golems or Goblin Giants in the back to make it so you can defend for cheaper, then that's exactly what you need to do. That's kind of how you get away with defending using no big spell. Because if you don't have a big spell, like this deck, big pushes are very harmful. So you're going to, the only other solution is to not let your opponent build up a big push. And so the way to do that is to apply pressure while defending. And so that is going to allow you to defend easier, because it forces elixir out of your opponent. So if they go Golem in the back and then you go Hogs and they're forced to try and defend it, they can't back up their Golem as well. So that's exactly what you try and do with this deck. So here we're just going to try and get what looks to be one more EQ down. We should be able to do it pretty easily here. I'm just going to log cycle, Skellies, Ice Spirit, just get a back to another EQ, and that should be GG's. Wait. Okay, Ice Spirit actually came in clutch there. We almost gave up that wall breaker hit. But yeah, GG's, another very fun deck. I love this Hogs deck. So rounding out the top 3, not necessarily in any order. I wouldn't say any deck is better than the other. It's all up to preference. We've got Splashyard. Now, if you don't have the Little Prince, I highly recommend trying to get him as soon as you can because he's completely broken. But if you don't have him, you can use the Ice Wizard, and it is still a very powerful deck. You are going to be able to defend literally anything. There is nothing in this game that you cannot defend with Splashyard. However, it doesn't exactly play the same as like the minor wall breaker deck we showed earlier. Now, this deck does have great defense, but you're going to be able to apply constant pressure and play off counter pushes. Now, I personally love this deck. It's one of the decks that I hope to work on, but you literally don't need any like special game knowledge. You play good defense, you start over time to learn how you can build up counter pushes, you recognize what opponents have for your graveyards, and it is a very, very simple deck. I mean, there's obviously going to be like little micro placements and stuff like that. We're going to go like this here due to the lack of archers in this man's hand. We're going to try and capitalize off that. And as you can see, hella damage. Let's go. But yeah, there's not a ton of nitpicky interactions you need to know. Obviously, it's going to help to look up tornado guides and to try and get better with the tornado. But the biggest thing is just defense. Play good defense. Try and play defense with troops instead of like stuff like the poison as much as you can, so that you can build counter pushes and go graveyard with your defense. That's going to be the biggest thing. You turn defense into offense by just activated King Tower. Okay, and we're probably going to do another game with this guy because we're with this deck because we're just curb stomping him, and he just activated King Tower with the tornado. He's not the coldest spoon in the fridge, but you're going to be able to beat, I think, any matchup in the game. Obviously, some decks will have like 4 graveyard counters and you're not going to be able to beat them, but that's the case for every deck in the game. You're going to be able to win most games with this deck. So I highly recommend it. I think it's personally very fun. So looks like he's just giving up. Okay, I guess he's not giving up, but I mean, we're up 2,000 damage. We're just going to take the tower here. He's tornadoing my stuff into his tower. You know, it's just over. We're going to do another game with this deck because I don't feel like this game did this deck justice. This deck is very, very powerful. And although it may have some metas where it's not the best, there are always people on top ladder with Splashyard, and that's a good sign if you're looking for a deck to play. If you're looking at your deck and there are people on top ladder with your deck, that means your deck is good in the meta and it can be played. So that's a big thing. And of course, you could take your pick between the decks I have shown in this video. I think there's 3 pretty different play styles there. So if you don't happen to like any of them, that's okay. You can keep searching for a new deck, but I do think that these are some of the best options. Now we've got another deck with or we've got another game with this deck because I feel like the last one was pretty easy. It was a little too easy. Like I wasn't very smart. So we're just going to play a poison spell on this Night Witch. Nice. And then we're going to get poison doesn't quite kill it. Poison log kills it, but obviously no log in this deck. We do have a baby dragon. He's got Sparky, so I'm not going to baby dragon up in the Night Witch. It's kind of important to keep your troops alive with this deck, obviously. You're going to need to keep Little Prince or Ice Wizard, whichever you're using, and Baby Dragon alive. So you want to keep them away from the bridge if possible. Play your cards and troops low. Obviously, this was different because I did not have a very good hand, so that's kind of what I was forced to play here. We're just going to go with the Knight, and this is a beautiful defense of the first Sparky push by Rothea. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. Join my Discord. I almost said exclamation mark Discord. That's for the Twitch streams. My Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Discord, they're all in the description if you want to go ahead and support me. That would be very appreciated. But yeah, I mean, we're just going to play simple defense. I was actually really not expecting a Royal Giant here. That was kind of funny. I hit the ability late. That's on me. We wouldn't have given up any hits, but I hit the ability late. That's on me. But yeah, I mean, we could just counter push here, apply some light pressure because he did just spend a lot of elixir. So we should get some good damage here. Definitely getting our damage from the Royal Giant back. And that's going to be one of the most important things with this deck is elixir tracking, because knowing when to punish your opponents is very, very crucial with this deck. Because you don't have to be able to necessarily count elixir. Like, I don't know how much elixir my opponent has at this instant. I don't know. I'm not tracking. It's just a general sense. You go Sparky in the back, he's at 4. He's low. I could go Knight Graveyard opposite lane if I wanted to. I'm not going to, just because I feel like playing this a bit more defensively. I feel like things could get weird with his deck. So I'm just playing it a bit more defensively. We could just go Little Prince back here. We're going to get tons of poison value on the Tower, the Night Witch, and the Sparky here. And we're just going to summon this ability, because why not? It's just adding meat to this defense, and we took out the Dark Goblin as well with it. So that's pretty cool. I like that. We're up by 600. I'm going to go with an aggressive Baby Dragon here to take out this Night Witch, as well as a Knight. And we're going to pair this with a Graveyard in a second. Oh, guess not. Wait, we're going to have to wait for the big boy to get out the way. And we should kill him pretty fast here. And I'm actually going to go, I think I'm going to go Graveyard, because we're going to tank out this Night Witch and tank for the Graveyard. Nice. And so I'm not going to poison up there quite yet. We don't actually need to, because the tower is distracted by the Baby Dragon. And the Dark Goblin cannot do its job by himself. So pretty good W. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of the decks, and I highly recommend trying out one of these decks in classic challenges, figuring out which one fits you the best, and then taking it to level 15 and trying to master it.